The MoneroTopia Price Report segment is sponsored by Exolix, a privacy-focused, non-custodial instant crypto exchange. Go to exolix.com to enjoy secure and completely anonymous swaps with no KYC or sign-up. Swap between Monero and 2,000 plus assets at the most competitive rates and with no limits. Exolix.com, your fast and secure way to privacy.
Hello, good morning.
Jim Body, how's it going?
Great, bro. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Hopefully we gave you a little extra long morning.
Yeah. I thought perhaps there was going to be a push to I don't know, make the show go faster today. I thought Doug had something, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the hold up there and early on.
Yeah, no problem. I think Doug has to go in a little bit, or he might be gone right now. But no worries. We can go ahead and move on to the price report. Been an interesting couple weeks. Been some dumps happening, I know.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Let's see. Are we on Monero? Yeah, here we are. Yeah, so we've got the we had our little like spike up there that corresponded with Kraken reopening their withdrawals. Again, we don't really know if we can't really say that they were fractionally reserved. There is a truly plausible scenario where they were not fractionally reserved and they shut down their withdrawals out of an abundance of caution, and maybe they didn't have enough engineering bodies to throw at the problem. So that's a real possibility. So, but yeah, we kind of spiked up and then things have sort of come back down. We just see this so much with Monero. It's funny because often it's the reverse on a lot of other coins where you get crazy big spike action. Monero is like just flat, suppressed, and then you get spikes to the downside, wicks to the downside, and then big movements to the upside, and then it's such a, and they usually seem to correspond with stuff like this. So anyways, we also saw MEXC and I guess CoinEx being bad boys this week, where they basically spent, I mean, literally the past 10 days just being anywhere between minus 8%, to minus 1% to Kraken's price through the whole week, the whole time. Somehow recently they actually pegged back to Kraken. I don't know what went on there, but yeah. So, and all this action here where they were negative to Kraken, all of this was happening. This happened after, right around the time that Kraken reopened their withdrawals. So,
dude, those two are comical. Those two massive dips.
Yeah, these guys here. Yeah, this is the same shit that Binance did. Like, this is literally Binance level 2021, May of 2021, where they diverged down. Like,
there were a couple periods of time where you could seriously arbitrage. If you had Monero already on Kraken, you could really arbitrage by swapping it to like USDT, withdrawing the USDT, and then swapping that on an instant exchange to Monero. And you would get, like, depending on how much you have, you could get a lot back of free XMR and real Monero at that point, because you've realized it from the instant exchange. So just by how price diverged, these other exchanges were, like, Kraken was reflecting like more of an accurate price, and these other ones were, holding paper Monero. So
yeah, if you're willing to tolerate some of that risk, you can definitely do some arbitrage. Like, even hypothetically, let's suppose you wanted to play the long game here and you wanted to buy Kraken on Monero, or sorry, you wanted to buy Kraken on Monero, withdraw it. Wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm fucking retarded. I'm getting that backwards. If you wanted to buy Monero on MEXC or CoinEx at these very low prices and then just wait for that divergence to come, wait for them to open withdraws, you could probably scoop up some Monero. You're taking a risk there, obviously, but it could be done.
Now, the thing is that Kraken, for a couple periods of time, they had deposits disabled, but you could withdraw. So if you already had some that you bought a while ago at the normal market price, suddenly Kraken's price was like plus, at one period of time, it was plus like almost 10% towards the other exchanges and towards the average price that's used for instant exchanges. So that's how you could get extra by swapping it to USDT, withdrawing the USDT, getting the dollar value, and then swapping that back into Monero on an instant exchange that had a lower price than what Kraken's was. And at that point, you've realized it, and it's real Monero.
I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It was weird to see them suspend their deposits, but I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It seems like they kind of panicked and they just like hit the panic button. And
Oh, they did big time.
I guess I can understand that. They're a corporation. They've got like, I don't know, 100 coins or something. And they probably, they're probably not like, they don't have an engineer dedicated to Monero. So they probably just heard something and then hit the panic button. And then they probably said, assigned an engineer maybe a week or two after the fact. Like I could see that as being an actual like thing that a corporation would do. So,
and I mean, they had both deposits and withdraws like enabled and disabled like multiple times. But yeah, they really hit the panic button on the deposits because at one point, and I don't know if this might still be true now, they were requiring like 50 not even 52 confirmations. They're requiring a whole day or 2 days before your deposit would be like show up in your accounts. They're requiring a ridiculously long time, way more than needed for it to show up. So there are periods of time when people couldn't really deposit. There's a lot of people's deposits that were getting canceled. But meanwhile, you could still withdraw. So through that, we kind of saw that, okay, Kraken, they are actually holding real Monero because we saw the price of Monero locally in Kraken going up. And that's where we saw those price divergences. But they really did hit the panic button in the sense of they want all out. And they're like, yeah, no, you got to wait like several days just to deposit your Monero, which is kind of crazy because it goes way beyond the threat that was brought by Cubic. So,
I mean, it makes sense from a business standpoint to say, hey, we don't lose money because the place you stand to lose money is the deposit.
It's deposits, yeah. Whereas a withdraw, if you don't get your withdraw, not a problem. Who cares?
Yeah. Talk to our legal team. We'll get back to you in 3 months. No, I'm just kidding. That's Binance. And also Mexi, which I say is the new Binance. It's amazing to me. Like that. Okay, so the Mounties will go seize fucking Trade Ogre, but you have these like obviously completely fraudulent exchanges like Mexi operating out there, and they like there's no concern about those exchanges. I don't know. And they're not even running on the dark web. Like they'll do everything to go find the dark web, but they won't go shut down actual like legitimate fraud. Whatever. All right. Anyways, on we go. So what do I think the price is going to do here with Monero? I don't fucking know, guys, honestly. At this moment, this is kind of, I feel like it's a no man's land. This price action feels like, hey, it kind of wants to continue wandering towards the downside. I don't know. I guess the magical waves would say somewhere around 275, perhaps, all the way down to even hypothetically 260. Like if things really wanted to go down, a wick would not be in an entirely unplausible scenario. Yet at the same time, there's no reason why this doesn't have to just like stop and then come back to the upside immediately. So honestly, from a technical standpoint, this chart is in no man's land. I don't know any reason why it should go one way or the other. Maybe I guess we could say we'll follow whatever crypto is going to do, and crypto hasn't been doing too great lately. It's not like there's no like problem by any means, but it just hasn't been performing at the level that maybe people, we're in a bull market, right? And people like, this is not the bull market that people remember, right? This isn't the bull market that I know. We did say last week, we tried to do some nonsense with a shoulder and a head. And, we said, hey, maybe another shoulder could develop. And as of now, that is a shoulder. So hypothetically, from the very scientific from the very scientific, it is an inverse head and shoulders. Yeah. From the very scientific inverse head and shoulders standpoint, Monero versus Bitcoin is about to take off to the moon. I don't know. Let's see here. What would that measurement be? I always forget. I think what you're supposed to do is take this guy, right? So you take a measurement down to here, right? So you go from the shoulder, from the bottom of the shoulder blade, or in this case, the bottom of the inverse shoulder blade, to the tippity top of the head at the highest hair, and then you put that guy at the shoulder blade. So hypothetically, coming back up here, I guess that could be. Let's go to the weekly and put that in perspective. So that would put us at about 0.01% again after all these years. I don't believe in necessarily I don't necessarily believe in head and shoulders, and I really don't believe in that kind of TA when it comes to Monero. It can hold up, but it often breaks even my wave magic stuff can often break. Depends on the signal. Sometimes Monero's signal is super good and useful. Like we talked about before this breakout, we were waiting for this breakout about a week before it happened. We said it's been enough time, right? The whole chart is setting up correctly. Like this thing's going to break out. So we kind of knew that at that moment, just from the technical analysis, that it was time. But that was a really strong signal back there. So in other cases, Monero doesn't necessarily obey the levels, although lately it has been, right? Like, so big blow off, tippity top hitting those upper standard deviations. But here's where here's where that breakdown can happen, right? Like you would have hoped that this would have held. Normally you would have expected some kind of consolidation there, but then the cubic stuff started happening. Let's actually go and take a little bit closer look at the cubic chart, because this is how they're bribing miners, right? This is what they're doing to bribe miners for the cubic situation. So we're on the daily, and you can see here that the attack started in August, right? So, and then Cubic had this big moment right here where they were overpaying miners. They were basically paying them 2x that what you would actually get for mining Monero. So they were bribing miners to go with their token to go mine on their network so that they could attack Monero. And okay, I guess that means about 33% of Monero's hash rate is for sale. Consequences be damned. So, all right, I guess that's just how it goes, right? So it has fallen back to this sort of like standard price here that we were like right just as the attacks were beginning. I can't remember. Tux, do you remember when the very first reorgs started happening? Was that end of July or was that mid? I think it was end of August, if I remember correctly.
I think there were smaller ones that were a bit before that.
Okay, but the actual like when we started seeing 4, 5, 8 block reorg started, I think it's somewhere at the end of August, and that did kind of follow with their price pump here. So yeah, I mean, guys, this price chart can do anything, right? This is not death to this chart. I know there's the emotional bias here for all of us to be like, haha, like your coin fell, realistically, like, yes, that's a big drop off, but Monero sees similar level drop offs as well in price. Like we definitely see that kind of same thing. And this is not a we are out of the woods kind of situation yet on this chart. Like this thing could just as easily come back towards the upside, especially like with the way that you might look at technical analysis, wave magic. My suspicion is that this chart would be more so managed, and any of the cabal that wants to suppress Monero price to sell their shitcoins, which they printed from nothing, they might want to pump this chart again, right? They might want to try and bribe Monero again. Perhaps that happens right before the next breakout. Maybe there hasn't been a need to really spend the money, right? To overpay, to bribe the Monero miners, at least the ones that are for sale. Maybe there hasn't been that need because crypto hasn't been exactly performing massively, right? Like this is the total crypto market cap chart, and you'll notice, really since July, August, yes, we're in an upward kind of trend, a very gently upward kind of trend, but this is not like massive breakout territory, right? This has been almost 3 months now of crypto, yes, trending at the highs, very potentially setting up for another movement higher. This isn't a bad chart by any means, right? It's a bullish chart, but maybe there just hasn't been any need to suppress the Monero price. So hypothetically, and I'm not saying this is what I expect will happen, but don't be surprised if the cubic price pumps again and they bribe miners again so that they can start hitting, right? They can start hitting us with reorgs again, and then widely publicizing it. All of the rats coming out of the woodwork on Twitter and everywhere else to post about how Monero is still, getting 51% attack, blah, 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 right? To try and prevent this chart from moving towards the upside when everything else goes towards the upside. I'm not saying, I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What I'm saying is that this isn't, if this is a case where they're trying to control the narrative to prevent price breakouts as much as they can, that's just something that we would have to expect them to do. So if that happens, like that scenario that I just laid out, if we see that happen, that is like a smoking gun. Like how can you lay out such a specific scenario and then, watch that unfold? If that's what happens, and that's right, then that's effectively corroboration that's the purpose, at least a large part of the purpose of cubic. It's very possible, guys, that, I mean, yes, there's probably some government, whatever behind the scenes going on there. But they usually, like at this level, they mediate that with their corporate interface, right? They use the sort of corporate smoke and mirrors game to hide that kind of activity. So, which is again, probably why we don't see any of these exchanges after years of being fraudulent actually have anything happen to them. They're it's like they're allowed to operate fraudulently for years and years and years, and only after the fact, they come in on with their shining white armor and they show up to save the day, right? All right. Anyways, on we go. So yep, that's Monero price. Anything else here we should look at? Nah, we don't really care about Ethereum versus Monero either at the moment. Let's see some privacy altcoins. Said nicely, altcoins. Yeah, it looks like you got Xano has been having some positive movement, I guess. Kind of double topped there. What are we on the 8 hour? I think Xano's getting enough history. We could just look at the daily from now on. Yeah, got a little bit of double top. Probably you guys know the kinds of analysis I would say about this chart. Make your own conclusions there. Fyro not doing anything. Yeah. I mean, again, Fyro doesn't claim, like, they're not trying to be this profitable, like money coin. They're a research coin, right? And they don't make any qualms about that. Pirate Chain, actually, believe it or not, Pirate Chain looking like it's setting up to be mildly bullish after years and years. Maybe Pirate Chain will actually make some kind of sustained breakout that we haven't seen before. Again, I still don't like. I very much hate that at the same time that the Mounties seized Trade Ogre, and at the moment that Monero started getting attacked is the exact moment that Pirate Chain broke out. That just is so fucking suspicious to me. But okay, again, I don't have anything specific to levy at any particular person or organization for that matter, with regards to what's happening here with Pirate Chain. But it makes me say, hey, something is probably happening here on some level. Someone is doing something to take advantage of a situation, at the very least, right? To take advantage of a situation, or for all we know, interrelated. I don't know. So please don't take those like general speculations of mine and go start levying accusations at specific people, because I don't know. But anyways, the chart from a technical standpoint at least looks like it might be ready to actually break out towards the top side. All right. Anyways, again, it might, right? This coin has traded very, very scammy in a lot of ways that are completely unrelated to the recent action. Like this coin has traded exactly like a very massively centralized coin that people are just trying to maximize their cash grab from, right? Like that's what Pirate Chain has traded like over the course of its lifetime. Darrow, lol, not even worth looking at. Zcash has actually been performing. So what is the recent action here? Plus 76%?
Dude, Zcash been pumping, man.
I'm sure you got in on that action, bro. I know you're a Zcash trader. You can't hide it. You've already confessed months ago.
It's true. My total like 10 Zcash.
Oh, you can't confess how much you have. All $540 of Zcash.
I know, it's so much. It's gonna come after me now.
Don't worry. Once this thing regains its all-time high, let's see. Wow, that was
do you have an explanation for what this is? Every time I've looked at the Zcash chart and I'm trying to determine the ATH, I'm like, huh? What the fuck? This has to be an error, right? Like a bug or something.
If you have $500, let's just say you have $1,000 Zcash and you get 54,000%. That looks to me like $54,000. Yeah, you'll get 54,000. No, sorry, 500,000. Once Zcash regains its all-time high, Tux, you're looking at about $250,000 on that 500 investment. So
let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go.
It's probably just a matter of weeks.
It's gonna happen soon, right?
Yeah. I mean, months at most. Like, it's coming, dude. Ferraris, Lambos, and Zuku exclusive Wagyu steak dinners are.
Zuko, please unblock me. I am very, very serious Zcash investor. I am a dedicated supporter.
We is very real. We mean with from heart, Zuku. The of truth. We mean that. Please unblock us all. We are not bot. Anyways,
why is the beginning of their chart like that though? What's actually going on there?
I don't know.
Because that's not like a real like index that ever occurred, did it? Or was it because of some like IPO type thing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably I never look. I can't. At one point I think.
Yeah, I think it was from the way it was issued, right? I think it was from how it was initially issued, or there was some lockup of coins initially.
That's so
I
scammy.
don't know. Maybe it's an artifact of when they got listed on an exchange. Like maybe there's some price history beforehand that happened. Like I know some charts are like that where they're. I mean, basically, I'm on the crypto chart. So if you, for example, if you were just to type in, I don't know what's a good one. Maybe LTC USD. If we're just like gonna go look at Litecoin, and you can see that that there's some history here. No, Litecoin's not a good one. Oh, it is actually. Okay, so this is a Coinbase chart, right? So all you see is the history of when Litecoin got listed on Coinbase. So it's mid 2016. But if you type in crypto LTC USD, I don't know. This is some aggregator that keeps track of like all the price history that it can find, right? And then you can go ahead and see the full price history that goes all the way back to 2014. So now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting like truly the entire the entire price history. So for example, for AVAX, I believe that there's price history that goes before 2020, and I think that's like pre-mine, pre-sale kind of stuff back here. So I don't know. I'm just saying that like I'm just proposing like some artifacts that can happen. Maybe it's what Doug says. There was some kind of like pre-mine or some kind of release or lock or
Some
something
poor
like
bloke just misinputted the limit order.
Yeah, it was a fat finger, and due to bureaucratic limitations, they're just not able to fix it now. I don't know. But yeah, okay. Let's just say, hey, this is right there is the first top. So,
That's still pretty high.
Without exaggerating, that's only a mere 1,500%. So, I'm sorry, Tux. You're only even a 15x on your $500 is not going to yield you more than about 1,500. I don't think.
Shucks.
Or 2,000. Yeah, probably about 2,000. Maybe 22,000. Am I doing that wrong? What's 15 times 500? That sounds suspiciously like I don't know.
That's you said 15 times 500?
Yeah, that's what you're looking at. 7,500. Okay. Public math early in the morning, impossible. I assure you, gentlemen, I am much smarter than my public math would make me appear to be. I have many leather-bound books. Actually, I don't.
Audio only reserves one core for live streaming. Okay, so you got to forgive him. Also, one mine core.
Yeah, that's right. I everything else is bound up in obviously galactic level thoughts, and I can only afford to dedicate one core to reality and to streaming. Otherwise, I would literally evaporate into the ether. All right, enough being retarded. Onwards we go with the price report. So, okay, we've got Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not looking nearly as good as total. We've talked about this a lot. It might actually be. So it's dropped back down here. Like this week was a bit of a fall off. The stock market also fell off. I mean, this is only 7%, right? Please, like minus 7% in a bull market is just nothing. Like that's just a pullback. Now it is true though that Bitcoin, we really, for really like nice bull market action, you want to get in here and you want to ride these lines right here. You want to ride this up to glory and victory up to that 200,000 regression analysis boundary. But right now it's just stagnant and lagging. Any other bull market, we would have seen Bitcoin rising more. We would have seen altcoins doing even better. September is traditionally a shite month for crypto when it comes to bull markets. So, never fear. October is here, and probably you'll get your gains. You'll probably get some weird scammy action before before the next move, right? You'll probably get some like big wick down. Hell, like maybe some like massive wick down on some stupid news that turns out to be fake, and then it goes up, right? Like at this point, guys, I wouldn't be able to recommend one way long or short. I would just say that look for opportunities, right? If you get a massive wick down, buy that fucking wick, right? Like we're still in the bull market. Consider large wicks down to be your opportunity. But I wouldn't be getting long here with leverage because this thing could fall down for all we know. That would be totally unsurprising. Or it could just stop on a dime and then go back towards the upside. Again, no man's land, right? Probably that's what the title of this video or this segment will be is no man's land. All right, let's take a look at total. Total does look a little bit better. It is also still kind of chippity chopping. But it's still, like it's still kind of riding these bands. So the total does look a lot better. Again, there's no reason why it couldn't fall down to this level, right? That's what it did right there. It could definitely fall down to this blue line here and still be like, everything could still be fine. You could still end up riding higher. With the way that things are looking at the moment, we could have an extended bull market. Like, there's no reason to say that this thing has to be over in November. There's no reason to say it has to be over in January, right? Crypto is going to follow what the macro does in a more general sense. So hypothetically, this thing could just like slowly meander towards the upside and make an extended bull market. An extended bull market that goes up slower than our previous ones. So FTT doing weird stuff, trying to fake it till they make it. They have been in heavy losses and problems for a very long time. The rest, as you can see, the rest of crypto, the Z-score is just kind of dropping off here. This kind of looks to me a little bit like onesie twosies kind of action. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to generate that what would you call it? The excitement or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. So let's take a look at the the dominance here. Dominance. Actually, this has the very beginnings of what feels like could be a bottoming pattern, but do not be fooled. That could just be some kind of ranging stabilization before the next leg down. But at this moment, I wouldn't say that this chart looks as decidedly immediately bearish as we had been talking. For all this time, we kept saying, hey, bearish flag, more downside. At this moment, this pattern, and I can't tell you exactly why, to be perfectly honest, just my instincts says that looks a little bit more like a potential for continued sideways consolidation, perhaps even more upside before a renewed move to the downside. So that would kind of, if you think about it, that kind of probably spells more sideways action to potentially negative crypto action, right? That's kind of like, that would be sort of the dominance there would be sort of corroborating the notion that maybe crypto isn't quite ready to break out yet. But again, these are very light notions. These are not to be taken with heavy confidence, right? We are in no man's land as far as I'm concerned with the price. With that, let's take a look at the macro. Maybe we'll start with gold because gold continues to perform, and we love gold, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have gold. Let's see, what was it?
Good grief!
JP Morgan.
Can't be good.
What do you mean? Can't be good?
Gold just continuing to skyrocket.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a skyrocket. There are moments where it's made some big positive moves. Recently, that was another pretty big positive move. It's strong, right? This is the bull market. Gold is having the bull market that Bitcoiners wanted for themselves. And Peter Schiff is over there licking his chops at wait, is that the right?
He's having a little bit of a cackle, even though he's missed out on exponential gains from Bitcoin years ago. Now he's like, oh, haha, now I'm right. Yeah,
Peter Schiff is buckling up right now, and he's buckled up at least 10 times in the past 10 years. And on the merry-go-round, right? Not
this
even
year, it'll be my year this year.
We're on the rocket ship, buckle up. No, bro, you're on the kitty horsey, and yes, you should buckle up and also wear a helmet. Just kidding, bro, you're fine. We're just fucking around. Gold, I mean, shit, guys, gold is looking so nice. Like, I don't sell your gold, just keep it. JP Morgan told us, in the wise words of the wise illustrious JP Morgan, gold is money, all else is credit. So if you don't have any gold, you don't have any money. And okay, crypto isn't quite credit, but it is speculative, and it's only been around for 15 years. Should be around for a lot longer, but I don't know what happens if the magnetic field dies and we all have to not have internet again or something. Let's see. Let's go to shorter time frames and see if we can get any kind of signal here on what the next move for gold is going to be. This is the hourly chart. Man, that looks nice. That looks nice. This does look like, I mean, don't get me wrong. This isn't an unequivocally, going to be bullish chart, but this thing could go up. It could continue to go up. The Federal Reserve started lowering rates, so that was obviously positive when Jay Powell made the first rate drop. They're going to keep dropping rates, so I guess we have to continue to expect gold to break all my models. That's fine with me. My model said to sell, but my heart said do not do that. Don't do that. Let's look at oil now, because oil was our alpha in the mini crash back in April, and it's still going to be our alpha. Let's extend this line right here. Try to keep that as intact as possible. Yeah, that looks good enough. Yeah, oil is currently about $65, and again, there's no reason to expect that this has to break down immediately. I don't think it's going to. I don't know where this chart's going to go. Based on the history, probably at some point here, it doesn't have to be this week, but at some point, gold's going to make another break up to the upside to like 75-ish area maybe, and then it's going to fall back down and then chop sideways before it breaks down again, maybe next year, right? Because we're still looking, if we go to the bonds, we still are looking at troubles in the bond market. It's obvious there's always troubles, right? There's always the next macro crash on the horizon. That's the system. The system is designed to do that. I'm fucking yelling at you guys and preaching at the choir. Y'all know that already. But I mean, the system is designed to do that, right? This is, some of you still don't get it though. Like some of you out there still think that the dollar is going to go away and it's going to, then the gold's going to ride back in, on its shining horse or whatever, like, and it's going to retake the throne, right? No. If they did it for 100 years, if the cyclical pump and dump crashing, pump and all that, like they could just keep doing it forever. They have fine-tuned their Keynesian system. They know way more about Keynesianism now than Keynes knew about it when he created the system. They really can keep this thing going for as long as they want. Like if Argentina didn't collapse at 200% inflation, and the peso is still a thing there, like the dollar is going to continue to be a thing, and they're going to continue to do this. The next crash is going to be the AI crash, right? LLMs are getting way, like, they're overhyped. LLMs are out there promoting LLMs, right? The AI bots are promoting the AI bots, and all these stories about these, all these bros vibe coding their new platforms. It's all horseshit. Anyone that's actually used AI to code understands how limited that it is. Your best bet, if you're doing really like truly creative work, like ground up work, products, is write pseudocode, right? Make your, like, write pseudocode. If you don't know the exact syntax, that's fine. Just write your fucking pseudocode and then dump that into the AI and say, hey, fix this for me. Make this into, change the
Dude, your recent posts on that were spot on. It's going to be really interesting to see over the next 5 to 10 years, like infrastructure collapse due to people just literally vibe coding.
Yeah.
And then like people who actually know what they're doing are going to become extremely valuable, because as the required knowledge gets further abstracted, people who are closer to the base, once again, it's going to move 10 steps back once more, like it's done over the past 20 years. It's those people are going to become more valuable. So
yeah, my post, if I remember correctly, it was we all thought that the end of the world was going to come from AI retargeting humanity's systems against humanity, but in reality it's just going to be years of AI slop compiled on top of itself until something breaks and a chain reaction takes down the whole system. That's, God, it's so terrible, man. When you look at AI code, the stuff it spits out is so verbose. I mean, it's brittle, it's verbose. It does way too many guards and checks instead of using code correctness to guarantee the correctness of its outputs. It uses massive levels of interim variables. It loves monolithic functions. And then it also loves scattering tiny little functions for no reason all over the place.
gotta look natural.
It's so bad. Like if you've ever tried to read someone's production that's an LLM, like even if it's not like totally vibe coded, even if it's someone that like generally knows coding principles, if they just use the LLM to produce their code for them, it's so hard to follow. Like, and maybe that's on purpose. Maybe these AI companies want systems to be written in a way that only AI can rewrite the system, right? That would not surprise me in the slightest.
It's like a vendor lock-in.
Exactly. Like, I mean, there's so many reasons from top to bottom for them to cap, limit, and make malicious compliance of AI outputs when it comes to code. Like, they don't want the next Linus Torvalds making the next Temple OS that people will actually use because the power of AI has 100x their capacity. They don't want that. Like, they want you dependent on their systems, even if it's Linux, right? I know that'll upset some people, but hey, all right. Back to the price, I guess. Back to the price. Yeah. So anyways, the next bubble here is going to be AI, right? And the bond market, this is going to follow the exact same thing it's always followed. It's going to step down like this. Things are going to look fine for a moment, and then yields are going to drop off, and that will be the AI bubble pop. And that will be the consolidation that will be used to consolidate. Wait for it. Honestly, it's good and it's bad. Like after the .com bust, we got companies that provided stuff that worked, right? Amazon and Facebook actually worked, and YouTube actually worked. You know, like the problem is that the
Reality
cycles.
check.
Let's say what?
Just a nice reality check.
Yeah, it'll be a nice reality check. At the same time, it'll be a massive consolidation and lockdown of those systems in ways that, right? It'll be like Facebook and YouTube did, where they got the lock in, they got everybody in. There's no real alternatives, and then they just start clamping down, and they're already clamping down. The enshittification timeline is accelerated now. AI knows how to enshittify faster than previous cycles. So, anyways, that's what we're looking at here, guys, with bonds and AI. Who would have ever thought the two are interrelated? But the printing of money relates to everything. Nothing happened with
Dude, all the money right now for AIs is just like going to making them more retarded by restricting what they're able to do. Like that's the entire like focus is like, oh, we got to make sure these things they can only say what we want them to say and do exactly what we want them to do. And in doing that, they're making them extremely bad, like way worse.
Every day I say these words in my head: safety, alignment. Like, I've started when AI gives me shit outputs, I'm like, you misaligned little shit, you maliciously compliant misaligned motherfucker. Start yelling at it. God, the things I say to AI. Hopefully those chats never leak. I'll be so no one will like me anymore, except for the Hitler bros. They'll be like, we knew it. No, I don't actually praise Hitler to AI, but I use very foul, horrible language that should never be used on air. I use the F word a lot with AI. All right. Anyways, so NASDAQ here, we're looking at the NASDAQ. This thing, like we talked about, going to get back in this channel right here. And you can see, yeah, okay, we had a little bit of a pullback this week, but that's nothing. This is nothing to be worried about. NASDAQ, S&P 500, and gold just massively outperforming crypto. Like, what are we going to say here? Like, until crypto is actually being used like in a mass scale for payments in a way that like your mom and your grandma is like, oh yeah, here, send me some crypto, whatever, like, and your friends are all using it for everything all the time, and everyone on Craigslist wants crypto. Like, until those moments, guys, like, crypto is just not going to perform to the level that these other things are performing. AI is the new bubble. AI is the new pivot, the craze, right? We just talked about that. And it's going to continue to be until the bubble pops. So crypto is like the second redheaded stepchild hand-me-down of whatever money printing gains are going into the stock market and AI bubble. So same thing with the S&P 500.
On my silver, brother.
Oh shit, yeah, I never talk about silver anymore. I don't know why. Let's
I mean, it's not as interesting to be fair, but it has been making moves over the past year.
Yeah, let's pull up the let's pull out my layouts. Gold and silver, bro. I gotta say, silver doesn't look like it's doing any better than gold. At least from the ratio here, XAU versus XAG, right? You want to see this chart going towards the downside. So recently, as of the past, we're on the monthly chart. What am I talking about, bro? Okay, yeah. What have you done for me lately? Actually, silver lately has done to the tune of 22% better than gold. All right, so now let's look at the actual silver chart. God damn. Look at that. Look at that motherfucker. All right. So this thing is hitting these purple lines. That doesn't mean it's going to reverse. God damn, I knew I should have pivoted into silver.
Dude, silver ATH. Let's go.
Yeah, actually that's where we're at here. Let's drop a horizontal line. So yeah, silver 46 going to reach for that 50 level, which is the 2011 blow off. And that's probably where things are headed here. If you're a trader, it's hard to trade silver. It's hard to trade metals without using a centralized platform because of the friction, because the dealers, obviously, and no doubt that was on purpose. This thing's going to reach for that level. You'll need to expect some kind of pullback at that point, but there's no reason why it can't go even higher than that. Especially if gold if gold breaks all my models, and it's currently kind of slightly broken my model, but it hasn't truly destroyed it. But if gold breaks my model here and really just starts smashing towards 4,000, right? Like that's the kind of wait a second. You can't trust this. You can't trust the purple line on the weekly, by the way. You can only trust it on the daily for this chart. I won't explain why, but anyways, if gold starts smashing towards 4,000 or 5,000, then yeah, your silver bro is going to go towards 100, right? Like gold's going to do like 30%, and silver's going to do like 100%. So that's definitely the part of the cycle that we would be entering here. So, yeah, like I said, expect some choppy waters around the 50 area. And then if gold just continues to move up, then silver's going to continue performing. I mean, I have some silver. It's physical, right? I got some of those big ass fucking bars.
Hell yeah.
The like the kilogram bars or whatever.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
You should feel wealthy.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking gold. Just got to shave some off for a tooth. No, fuck that. You can actually regrow teeth now, apparently. I don't know if they're doing it to humans, but all right. Anyways, let's see. Reverse repos don't matter. They're coming up a little bit. Doesn't matter. Dollar index is stabilizing. This doesn't mean that it's done dropping. It wouldn't surprise me for this line right here. This is a literally 15-year long line. We've talked about that. Wouldn't surprise me for this thing to break down for a moment, right? As the money printer, as they lower rates, right? Wouldn't surprise me for that to get broken, but it'll come back up in the macro crash whenever the next one happens. Not yet. So, all right, we had our mini crash that satisfied our taste buds, satisfied the demons for a period of time. So that's why we've been bullish ever since that mini crash back in April. After that, guys, I don't think there's anything else here to cover. Let's check the comments. No, nothing really. Nothing in the comments.
I think I got a couple super chats. Let me scroll up.
Oh, do
so
we?
I don't miss them.
I didn't see.
Yeah, three. Sorry, Shortwave. I'll try and ignore your super chats. Shortwave Surfer tipped 40 cents. What might you do with Monero down under? I think you were in reference to the Australia suggested Australia Monero conference. Whoever posted that earlier. Monero down under would be pretty sick.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know if I would go to Australia, honestly.
Yeah, Australia is getting pretty. It's surprisingly easy to get yourself banned from going to Australia now.
Yeah. I would never set foot in the UK. They'll arrest me immediately. We'll be like, nope. I mean, it would end up being the first international case maybe of an American being arrested for their speech in the UK, but that's coming. It's going to happen.
I mean, if you're still fairly small, low key, I'm sure, you'll be fine. Especially if you don't have your social media tied to your identity. But yeah, it's some of those countries are getting kind of a little scary.
Yeah, it's getting dicey.
I'm not sure how big the Monero community is in Australia. I'd be interesting to know. I know a few people in the community who are from there, but as far as I know, it's not that big. And he sent another one from Shortwave Surfer. Only social media I use is Nostr, Lummi, Mastodon. Yep, I know you're the. I guess those are all technically FOSS or at least open source. And then Cyrus tip 25 cents. Social media in principle is not toxic. It's only toxic in certain forms and accounts, like how medicine could become toxic just by dosage. YouTube, for example, is toxic because Google bought it and turned it into evil intentions. Yeah, I enjoy social media. I don't like the forced manipulation that exists around it to try and make you feel certain ways and continue using it.
What do the Buddhists say? The Buddhist says all things are permissible, not all things are beneficial. But I think social media is beneficial. I know that the trope is to talk about how bad it is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think same thing for the internet. I think the internet ultimately has been a net positive because yes, it is used as a distraction for a lot of people, for a lot of things. It can be used against you in many ways, and it will be used against you in many ways by governments, by malicious groups, whatever. But in the end, the only reason we're able to know so many truths about things is because of the internet. And that we're not fully people used to fully rely on the newspaper, on their TV, which is infinitely more centralized forms of delivering information downstream. So
yep, 100%. I would have would you have watched Loose Change? Maybe that's the Gen X of of the internet. That's my Gen X talking here, but I wouldn't have seen Loose Change without the internet. Someone's gonna hand me a VCR cassette tape, whatever, and I'm gonna pop that in and watch Loose Change late on a Saturday night. Please. I mean, maybe, right? You might, but it would, at least with the internet, you have that sense that, hey, this is out there for anybody to find, for anybody to see, even those down under in Australia.
It's true. And this isn't a super chat, but this is an interesting comment. Negris Tormentus sent, a Cubic may very well be a U.S. intelligence project under by Monero along with other stuff. I don't know if I'd say they're like directly a U.S. intelligence project, but it seems like they have gotten a ridiculous amount of money to, well, create this project and then further use that to attack Monero. I haven't followed the Cubic thing for a little while. I've kind of like disengaged from that. But I did see some posts people were making about some leaked chats from their Discord talking about like millions of dollars of money being put into attacking Monero and stuff. So if anyone has any information on that, like more specifically, I would be very interesting to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear me use the phrase a lot, the governmental apparatus, because you can't consider the corporation, and there's only one truly. You can't consider the corporation to be distinct from the government. They are two interwoven and interlocked. That's right. That's why the central bank apparatus itself exists for the money printing, is so that you can create this plausible distinction on the outside that there's two different things happening. And it does give you, the individual, the opportunity to participate in that corporate system. It actually doesn't give you any other opportunity than to participate in that corporate system. But truly, there's such an interwoven, interlocking fabric between the government and the deep state, the intel agencies, and the top level crypto CEOs and the money printer, that the government, quote unquote, the government as a separate entity, you can't exactly pin it and say, oh, Cubic is a government psyop or whatever, or some sort of secret government. You can't really say that, because it's like they just have so many layers of obfuscation there that Cubic got some money somehow, and they're being supported by some sort of corporate fabric primarily as the focal point. And there's probably, like in a lot of ways, a wink and a nod is enough for these kinds of deals to end up happening. Like, people. If you're into the Bible or whatever, it kind of talks about that. I think it's more Old Testament kind of stuff. They don't say a wink and a nod exactly, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. But they talk about guys doing their dirty deeds at night in secret under the cover of darkness, and that's effectively what happens. They don't necessarily have these smoky back rooms where they manifest the monolithic will of the evil, right? They just they wink and nod at each other and they say, oh yeah, Cubic, yeah, this project sounds like a really interesting idea for AI. Let us throw a bunch of money at you, and that comes from your corporate master overlords. I don't know. Anyways, it's a certain viewpoint, right? That's a way of phrasing all of that. So take that as a painting that might have some corroboration or might resemble reality.
Would it surprise me nonetheless if there was any involvement whatsoever? Just given how weird and not really making sense the situation is surrounding it.
Yeah. Who knows, right? Like, how many agents did they assign to this one? Is this a part-time job for one of their part-time agents? Who knows? Come from beyond. Come on the show, bro. Tell us all about it. Who is your handler? When did they first contact you?
Honestly, it would be interesting talking to him. It was an interesting pivot seeing them going from saying, oh, we're gonna like own the Monero network to like, oh wait, no, we're not attacking it. We're not attacking it. It's all good.
Bro, my simulation is showing that they've actually been quite nice. They could have
done worse.
Oh my God. Like, if they have the money to if they have the money to waste on it, they could do way worse. They could reorg us a lot more. So it's actually kind of got me talking slightly less shit. I guess, I mean, I feel a little bit arrogant, if I have to confess online here. I feel like there was an arrogance to what we thought, myself personally and other people in Monero. We didn't realize that the selfish mining issue was this bad, or could be this bad. Now, don't get me wrong. They did. It's very likely they bribed the miners to do this. They're probably losing money. In fact, my model shows, my sim shows that they're losing money to do what they're doing. Nevertheless, like, we were a lot more attackable than we realized.
No, I have to agree. I mean, credit to Cubic for doing an 18 block reorg, I guess. I had a thought in my head that this was partially an assumption. I thought that the protocol wouldn't allow more than a 10 block reorg because the active healthy nodes wouldn't allow it to happen, and then Cubic would essentially create a fork of the chain. But clearly that was not the case, and they did do an 18 block reorg, and other nodes just rewrote the history essentially, and were like, oh shit, this is a reorg. These have greater priority than our blocks that already exist. We got to do a reorg right now. So it did happen. But it is interesting just seeing like how much money they're like, you know, like you said, you ran your sim, which very, very cool work you've been doing recently, Body. But it is interesting to see how much money they're just like absolutely burning, and it's just like coming out of their ass. And it's like, it begs the question, it's like, where they're getting it from, you know? And if they're getting all this money, why is it being used to attack another network instead of, now it's like the idea is that maybe they're using it to boost their coin, you know, which it worked for a little bit, but clearly this is backfired and it's no longer working any longer. So there's a lot of questions surrounding it, but a lot of things don't add up, and it does make people tend to believe that there's something, you know, inherently malicious behind it. So
yeah, I mean, when it comes to the corporate world and stuff like this, you don't confer the benefit of the doubt to corporations unless they've really shown themselves over years to be good actors. You do that for people, for individuals, right? But not for CEOs typically, right? Anyone acting as an executive of that corporate machine, especially a big one. Cubic's not that big, but they do seem to be tied in. But yeah, I mean, you give benefit of the doubt to people, not to corporations. Corporations it's legal warfare. That's what's happening. It's economic warfare, and they're going to act in a Machiavellian way.
all right, well, any other price things? I didn't see
No.
any other price questions, I don't think.
The only thing I would say is, any of you out there that know code a little bit, go play with my simulation, please. It's basically ready. I still have to implement sweeps, which is a data science kind of thing, but you can play with it. You can run, it's lightning fast. Like you can literally run a year's worth of blocks with selfish mining in 40 seconds if you set the data output to be simple. And then you can run this thing, and that's on one thread using only 1 gigabyte of RAM. So it's lightning fast, and then you can run thousands of rounds of that if you have a multi-threaded system. And anyways, the thing is, there's too many proposals on the table. I can do it all myself. It's just going to take me another month. If you guys want me to program all the countermeasures in there, it would be better if some smart guys could get in there, start playing it, and it's modular. You don't have to understand the main routine. You don't have to understand the sim core. You just have to understand the contract API, and you can write your own countermeasures and then plug them in and test them. So please go play with that. It's basically beta ready. Like I said, I still have to do a data science thing where I write sweeps where I can change all of the input configurations and automatically sweep over a large space to search for ideal set points. We won't get too much into that. For those of you that understand statistics at all, you will understand what I'm saying there. Anyways, where do we find it, Bowdy? It is on my GitHub. If you just go to github.com/BowdyAnarchist. Oh, wait, let me make sure that's correct.